Home from Libya, 2 of the detained Britons, but the wife of one still held says the government isn't doing enough. 2 Britons detained without charge in Libya for more than 5 months are home tonight. 4 others are still being held, and Libya now says it expects some kind of reciprocal gesture from Britain before they can be released. Today, the wife of one of the 4 accused the government of not doing enough and said she'll be pressing for action. Our first report is from Kate Adey in Tripoli.
It's emerging that the release of these 2 men was planned several weeks ago by the Libyans. They're much discomforted by the problems of having no diplomatic relations. Commercial contracts are held up and entry to Britain is difficult for Libyans.
Maybe I'll be back. Maybe.
Letting out 2 people, albeit detained for cooked-up political reasons, during Libya's anniversary celebrations ensured Colonel Gaddafi maximum publicity. They expect a response from Britain to their gesture.
But I think we've done our share. Now it's for the United Kingdom to decide how they can meet this good gesture.
Are you optimistic?
We don't have any other choice except being optimistic, but also try to be realistic.
So 2 leave, and the Libyans wait expectantly, meaning that the 4 remaining detainees will remain. And there's no sign of clemency for Robert Maxwell, serving a 12-year sentence in Tripoli. These men, too, feel that their only hope lies in a British move.
We do appreciate the gesture that the Libyans have made in sending those other 2 men home. I would be most grateful if we could be similarly released, because as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing tangible for which I am being held.
For the 2 detainees who've been released, it was home at last. Virginia Ledingham was on the tarmac to welcome her husband Douglas back. Also with them was the other detainee, George Bush. The detainees had no criticism of their captors. They'd been treated well under the circumstances, but they were relieved to be home. At a news conference, surrounded by their family, the Ledinghams had this to say.
Obviously, I'm delighted.
How have the past couple of months been for you?
Well, very distressing, obviously. But I've always known that Doug would be okay. He wouldn't be physically manhandled, and I knew that his life was safe. I've had a lot of support from British Caledonian and from family and friends. And so we've got through okay.
What are you going to do now?
I'm going to have a holiday. Today? I can't tell you that. That's personal.
Around Britain tonight, the families of the 4 British detainees who were not released are getting on with life as best they can and wondering what the latest news might mean for them. Pat Plummer's husband, Robin, is a British telecom engineer who was arrested 14 weeks ago. The other men are a teacher, university lecturer and welder. None has been charged. The Plumbers have not been together as a family since May, so what are their thoughts now?
I'm very anxious about the remaining 4. And I'm hoping that the British government will respond in some way for the Libyans to see, and that they will be sent home soon.
Tonight, Robin Plummer was interviewed from Libya on the news. Naturally enough, that went down well at home in Hertfordshire. More importantly, Mrs. Plummer hopes all the attention will increase the pressure for a speedy release of her husband and the other detainees.